I need to be honest with you guys. I don't know what I'm doing with my life, and I'm about to graduate college, but I'm coming to terms with the idea that's okay. There's no rule book for life, although it may seem like there is based on the ideas that we're fed from society and the media. Just because Gramps says that you should get a job after college doesn't mean that's what's best for you. Or because that one Instagram influencer says that if you don't have $10,000 in your savings account and a kid by 28, you're doing it all wrong. If that works for you, that's okay. But if it doesn't work for you, that's okay too. That's why I'm talking about my truth regarding success and how there's not one way to get there, and how success is so subjective that my ideal life could be your nightmare. So there's so many ways to achieve our version of success, and I'd like to get into that by talking about how other countries help their young adult population navigate their life path, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about my personal experience. So let's get into it. Politics aside, Israel has a very unique structure of their life path after high school. So after an Israeli graduates high school at 18, they go into the army, and they serve for about 2 to 3 years. After they do that, they're recommended to travel anywhere they want for about 6 months to a year. So after they've served in the army and seen the world, then they go back to Israel and go to college and graduate at around 26. Now, I know that you guys probably don't want to get drafted into the army, but consider for a second how this experience could shape a person. The principle that they're given time to figure out what they want to do with their life. They're given time to figure out their strengths and their values and navigate what lens they like to live their life through. Let's take a look at another example. Japan. Japan's known for being traditional, and their post-graduation path follows suit. In Japan, once you graduate high school, you go into college, and then you go right into the workforce. I spoke to a friend from Japan who articulated that taking a gap year after college is so uncommon, they don't even have a phrase for it. So they're expected to graduate college and go right into the workforce. And then after they're in the workforce, or while they're in the workforce, they're expected to stay with that company for essentially the rest of their lives. See, there's this concept in Japan of lifetime commitment, which was articulated in the Journal of Asia-Pacific Studies, basically saying that people in Japan have this underlying idea of loyalty. You're loyal to your company. You start working there, and you stay there until you can't work anymore. So in Japan, you need to make a decision quickly and run with it. So they don't really have a lot of time or options to second-guess themselves. However, in the States, we're inundated with options. I don't know what I want to do next year. I could go to grad school, I could go to law school, I could volunteer abroad, or I could go right into the workforce. I don't know what I want to do. It would almost be easier if I was forced to choose one and stick with it. But in the States, we have the luxury of choice. And this is a luxury that I don't plan on wasting. Although, I'll be honest, I have been struggling with it. Struggling so hard, I was really close to giving up on this speech because I wasn't ready to answer the big questions that had been looming over my head, like, who am I? What am I good at? What do I want to do with my life? What am I even doing here right now? But in order to start navigating these questions, I took matters into my own hands and utilized the school resources. I went to on-campus therapy as well as career services, and then did my own thing by finding internships and meeting with professors outside of class. So at career services, we started by listing my strengths and my skills. And honestly, it was pretty nice seeing all my strengths right there, all laid out next to each other. I was thinking, I could go somewhere with this. The natural next question is where, though? So my career services counselor provided me with a resource that could pretty much answer any question about every job out there. That's a start for sure. So after meeting with the career services counselor and doing my own thing, I was able to navigate what I value from a workplace. What do you guys value? I know I value creativity, collaboration, and service. But after that meeting, coming to terms with those things, I realized that this wasn't a one meeting type of thing. So I had to start simple, start small. Ask myself questions that I knew the answer to. Like, do I want to work a typical 9 to 5? Do I want a job that allows me to travel? What type of leadership do I like to work under? Answering these questions allowed me to help filter out what I want and what I didn't want from a job. So, I'm a senior, about to graduate, like I said, with a political science degree. And last year, after I interned on a political campaign, I figured out that I hate politics. I don't want to do anything that has to do with anything partisan. So that was kind of weird because 4 years in, you come to the conclusion that you're about to graduate with a degree that you honestly don't really like that much. My parents did not like that. But the truth is, really, if I didn't take these classes, I would have never gotten the opportunity to get that internship, and I would have never been able to cross that career path off my list. Knowing what you don't want to do is the first step of figuring out what you do want to do. Let's take it back to elementary school for a second. One of the first test-taking skills we were taught, process of elimination. The same thing applies here. I'm doing my own process of elimination right now, and I'm sure some of you guys are too. And weighing out your options can be hard. So I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to meet with a wonderful on-campus therapist who was able to give me a safe space to navigate these questions that I keep bringing up. But really, there's no answer. And the answer, really, is that I need to become comfortable with the idea of letting things fall into place. So yes, it's a cliche, but you do really need to trust your process. So I'm not here to tell you what success is and what success isn't. I'm here to ask you to find your version of success. Because success is perspective. And you need to be able to redefine your version of success every single day. I mean, I don't know. I still don't know what I want to do with my life. I'm sure you guys can tell. But all I know is that right now, my version of success is finishing this speech. And I just did. So thank you guys. Okay.